Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper, where I know we ended the last episode back on the main side of Founder's Ferry, but we're over here in the Greenway again because I realized I hadn't actually looked at the node for the climbing prior, the escaped XPR ship that's dealing with the refugees here. So this is the content of episode Flux, one of the 3 DLC episodes, as it says here. Completing the Deliver Spores action will begin the episode. Be aware that it is intended for late gameplay. I don't know exactly what late gameplay means here, but like, I feel like we've got our basic needs kind of under control. They need 2 Girol caps. We gotta get some of the fungus that grows on the eye out there to begin feeding the refugees. So I think that can be a near-term focus. I don't remember exactly how mushroom growing works, but I remember that you do it over here in the Greenway. So we can try to sketch a map of this overgrown jungle. I think it's a little strange that like careful mapping with like actual mapping tools is considered an intuitive task. This feels to me like the opposite of intuition. Whereas pick a path and set off into its twisting chambers and passages feels way more of an intuitive approach to me. But, you know, fine. We can do this. It is a dangerous enough task that I'm leery to put a 2 on it, even with our Endure pushing it up to a 3, though. So, yeah, maybe I was right before. Maybe we want to go spend our 2s on the other side. We could work over here. You know what? I think I said last episode that I wasn't sure whether working with the commune was a thing of our character or not, but it definitely is, right? Like, our character is absolutely eagerly looking for community, feels most at home when working alongside people. Like, I think this is exactly our kind of thing. At the end of the last episode, if I'm honest, I was very tired. It had been a long day. So yeah, maybe this is a good place to spend some 2s. We have a safe engage action here. Newcomers to the commune can work within the canteen, preparing and serving food for those that make the compound their home. And we have a chance with every engage action to gain a point of energy, thanks to that perk. Also, the grow beds at the heart of the commune, you can help maintain them. This is maybe a good place to use our dice. Let's engage here. I'm curious what the action outcomes are. And also free energy is cool. And we got there. So neutral outcome, 2 points of Haifa member. The only way to become part of the commune is to work your way in through long service. It's not for everyone, but I think it actually is a really good fit for our character. So on a neutral outcome, we get +2, and we have enough energy now that we don't actually have to gain any more. Just resting with at least 1 bar is good enough. If we work the grow beds here, the dirt of the beds is rich. How did the commune manage to establish such a good biome here? You wonder on it as you work, and there is an explanation, which perhaps we will come across. I'm less inclined to, like, once we have the 1 point of energy we need to sleep safely, I'm less inclined to hit the engage. If all this perk ever does is make it so we don't have to spend money on food, I think that's pretty okay, actually. Yeah, let's go ahead and just keep working the grow beds then. Alright, so a bunch of neutral actions got us halfway to Haifa membership in a single day. Seems pretty solid. We are sadly going to lose our 5th die when we rest. We've discovered a desire to join the Haifa commune. Meets the needs of its members in exchange for work. This is like extremely our character's thing, right? Hey, big surprise, a character I'm playing turns out to be a communist. So we are unfortunately not actually making money at this work. It's keeping us alive, but we're going to have to somehow be able to afford that next vial of stabilizer. We have time to consider this problem, though. Unfortunately, what we do not have time on is this clock. Well, you gotta sleep sometime, it turns out. Hold it there, sleeper, comes a voice from behind you. Don't you run. We run, right? We are reactive. We absolutely run. A strike across your back knocks you face down onto the floor. I told you not to run, idiot. Ethan pulls you up. He's wearing a wide smirk and a slick jacket, and you immediately know he is terrible news. You got all the way out here, and then stayed put. He laughs a cruel laugh. Is that a sleeper thing? You're my first. You barely hear him. You've noticed the handgun he has leveled at your chest. It's hard to take your eyes off it. He reaches down with his other hand and slips some kind of ring out from a belt loop without taking his eyes off you. Making it to the eye, though. That's pretty good. This place isn't so bad. Bars, markets, people. You know, I pull most of my contracts out of asteroid caves or off of godforsaken moons. He splits the ring into 2 perfect circles. Yeah, it's hard to hit civilization when there's so much space to pass through. Okay, try to engage with him. Who are you? Just a freelancer on a contract. He reaches over to slide the rings around your wrists. Go easy. I mean, obviously I don't. I'm going to try to run again. You see a chance the moment his eyes leave you to watch the rings. You spin, knocking him away and sprinting down the corridor. Then the shot rings out, echoing off of the metal so loud it hurts your ears. A bullet hole smokes in the wall beside your head. You freeze, and Ethan closes the gap. This is a very boring routine. Look, trust me, I've seen it all before. He slips the rings over your trembling wrists. Ethan nudges you to start walking. To the ship and home, he whistles. Going easy. You stumble down the corridor, your hands behind you, your mind racing. Okay, look, man, we can work this out. Can we? I don't see much in the way of assets in your possession. Ethan yawns and continues to nudge you down the corridor. It's a shame to come all the way out here just to head back to SNRP right away. That tracker of yours makes this too quick. I was hoping you'd put up a bit more of a chase, you know? A run-in battle through the bright market maybe, or a holdout in the low end. Yeah, there's a few establishments I would have enjoyed checking out while I asked around. You walk on in silence for a little longer, desperately trying to think of a way to escape. That SNRP tracker will be the death of you. Yeah, it does seem like a very serious long-term problem, doesn't it? Hey, I have an idea, Ethan interrupts your thoughts. How about on the way back to the ship we stop for a drink? I'm buying. He laughs at his own joke. I don't know that it's not really a joke. You just said a thing that isn't true. That's not how jokes work. Listen, I have a better idea. This better not be one of those things where you do a dramatic pause and then try to jump me, because I'm pretty tired of that. Although, muses Ethan, I got myself thinking. What's the rush here? I mean, here we are, in one of the most lawless joints in the surrogate systems, and we're heading for the exit. He pauses, and you trudge on in silence. Okay, here's the idea, starts Ethan. You and me, we make a little agreement. Here are the terms. He turns you to face him. You run, or leave, or try to abandon the eye, and I shoot you. You plot, or scheme, or you try to kill me, I shoot you. But, he smiles, you come meet me at an establishment of my choice every few cycles and you pay my tab, I don't shoot you. He pauses. Of course, you don't pay my tab. He rattles the handgun. You get the idea. Yeah, no, I get it. Okay then. That sounds to me like a deal. He stretches. You know, I really thought I was going to have to kill you. This is so much better. He clicks something at his belt, and the rings release from your wrists. I'm going to go see if I can find my old stool at the compressor club. You come see me there. He aims the handgun at you, squinting down the sight. And let me just remind you, that body of yours is one big tracker, so don't even think about leaving the eye, 'cause I'll know. Ethan turns and strides off down the corridor, slipping his handgun away. The mix of relief and terror you feel is overwhelming. What are you going to do? Yeah, that's a good question. New drive, don't get murdered by Ethan. Maybe if you manage to pay his tab, Ethan will leave you alone, right? That's how bullies and capitalism work. Alright. We have problems. We have a number of issues. So the compressor club node here, this is a 4-cycle clock. You see Ethan at a distance shouting from the bar for more drinks. This bill is not going to be small, is it? Yeah, that's less than ideal. Well, I want to ingratiate myself with the commune. I don't know if they help directly with the mushroom stuff, but like it would just be nice. Also, another drive completed, right, is another upgrade point. I suppose that's a good way to start things, is like just start completing drives. Help Fang chases leads to disable your tracker. I'm gonna level with you right now. I know that completing the storyline does not actually disable the tracker, so I'm definitely a little bit less interested in doing that than you might expect. Helping to fix the ambergris is going to rely on us getting a ship mine, if I'm not mistaken. If we gain access to the fabricator in the ore exchange by becoming a trusted trader, then we could get some ship mine fragments, build a ship mine, bring that to the ambergris, in addition to, actually repairing the hull. Those two things together would get us 2 upgrade points, because that's 2 different drives we're completing. So that's certainly something. I definitely don't want to be putting any low dice into the hull repairs, though, and we don't have any really high dice today, so maybe that's a problem for a different time. I mean, let's cross over. We can use these low dice at the commune very easily, and we don't have anything else super compelling to do with them for right now, and then we can use our higher dice in the greenway, because I'm pretty sure the greenway is where the mushrooms are. I guess, actually, let me start here. I definitely feel like we can run a 4 as a 5 and walk the greenway. That's probably okay. Just pick a path and set off. Okay, we got the positive outcome. You find your way onto a well-kept pathway between encampments, where carefully planted groves provide fungus and vegetables, and we just eat some, because I feel like it's mine to eat, apparently. I will say I'm a little leery of the 3. Bumping a 3 up to a 4 gives us a 50% chance of a neutral, which on danger still can cost you a neutral result in a danger task, and a negative result would probably actually be really bad. So I don't feel comfortable spending that here. We can dump these 1s, and we don't have to work the canteen because we got a point of energy already. We can work the grow beds, and I'm sure even like the negative outcome here is not so bad. The work is both unforgiving and frustrating, and the bright attitude of the members irritates you. Is this place really so great? So maybe this is a thing of our character. We have a little bit of a we get frustrated easily. Maybe sort of a short temper. Oof. 2 negative outcomes in a row, huh? Well, it's going to take probably 2... It's going to be 2 more neutrals to get a hit here, right? That's not too bad. Let's take this 3 back over to the other side and see if we can use it to earn some money, because we are going to need some money. There's still lots of other stuff to do as well. Like, there are lots of locations we don't have access to. I need to, like, spend some time exploring the station some more. We don't know the low end. We still haven't figured out. Maybe this would be a good thing to do. Open up the rest of the low end. I don't remember exactly what all is available here, so it might be a good idea just to free up nodes. This is only risky. It probably won't. It's probably fine. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it. Okay, neutral outcome. Repairing the tangled innards of an elevator motor. Okay, so 1 positive outcome here, a couple of neutral outcomes over on the commune, and did I discover a new drive? Oh, we got found a new node here. It is a half-built apartment unit. Long forgotten, a project that never made it. With enough scrap, you might be able to seal it up. Okay, so yeah, if we bring some scrap materials here, we can turn this derelict housing unit into a place that we could actually at least close. That's something, I guess. So we weren't working on the merchant freighter at all. There's a ship about to show up. Yeah, a salvage ship. That might be good for us, actually. I think all there really is to do right now, of course, is end the cycle, take a nap. We don't have to make money right this second, but we better make some money, like, soon. Okay, so a 5 is definitely valuable. Exploring the greenway is important, too. Oh, we've explored it enough to reveal the farm stacks, at least. So here at the farm stacks, we can buy food. 16 cryo. They don't like to sell the food piecemeal, but for the right price, they'll let it go. I'm a little leery of even trying this because it's such a bad price. I doubt we're going to get enough energy from whatever we buy here for this to be worthwhile. We could steal the harvest, which is an engage action. I guess it's sort of the kind of thing. I just can't see this character wanting to make off with the commune's food, right? Or we could just work here. They pay by yield. Endurance tasks are things we're good at. But I definitely want to... I want to go ahead and force a positive outcome here, since we know that the positive outcome will completely fill the bar and give us a point of energy at the same time. That's actually really good. Okay, so here we go. Mushroom groves. So we can't really just... Oof, these are both intuit tasks. That's rough. Collecting spores. While the grove mushrooms are dangerously inconsistent, spores provide a chance to gather or study these species in an untouched form. And then there's a fungusing ability here, a foraging ability here that actually requires a +1 on Intuit. That's not super ideal for us. What about the aviary? Once a corporate garden for impressing guests with gene-tweaked birds, now this chamber is a mess of overgrowth, but we can change that. If we cut away the choking vines and stop the rot, this place could be turned back into a garden of sorts. Okay, that's something to consider. Let's go ahead and put a couple of dice into the commune here. So fingers crossed for no negative results. Okay, cool, great, awesome. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time, and then we'll go spend this 4 on the low end and probably clear that out. All right, now even a negative outcome gets us where we're going. Tomorrow we can start worrying about money. Today we are opening things. All right, once again, fingers crossed for no negative outcome. All right, we're getting there. I do not feel like we have rolled very well with this character. It definitely feels to me like we are operating below expected value. You just gotta find a way to live below expected value. Okay, pair of 5s is a good start. So let's have a look at this scrap freighter. We can unload contents with the +1 from the endure. We get a couple of 6s for this. Freighter crew are eager to get their payload into the ore exchange, and they'll pay wage to anyone willing to help. I mean, that's not terrible. We could go work at one of the more stable scrapping places. Like, honestly, if we're going to spend 5s, maybe it's better we do them here. That's probably true. What's the pay like? Neutral, man. Okay, it's like nothing. The hamburgers doesn't look good, but Turns out years of retrofits have made Amber a fragile patient. Each repair is 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And of course we got a neutral out of our 5, because why wouldn't we? Let's finish up the low end here with the 3. Okay, neutral outcome again. Now that we've opened the place up, what else? Caster, the data fence. This is all we get? You cross between 2 walls of units, one of the cavernous streets at the center of the low end. The pressurized bridge is full of the clack of Tala, the shouts of children, and the whir of air filters. Sleeper. You turn to see a man sitting at a Tala table alone, somehow untouched by the hustle and bustle of the people around. He gestures to the stool on the opposite side of the table. Sit. Yeah, okay. You sit at the metal stool and he starts setting out the board with counters, or at least the filter caps the low-enders typically use in their place. Caster, he says by way of introduction, looking over his glasses. Night or day? He asks, gesturing at the caps, crudely sprayed white and black. So it's very backgammon-y, whatever it is. I've never actually played backgammon myself. Don't know what the rules are, but like this is visibly... You're obviously supposed to get that impression. It looks like most of the white caps are on his side, so I guess we're knight? He nods. The black counters are already on your side. Let's begin. You take a plastic die each, pitted and worn, and roll to determine who starts. Caster rolls a 6, you a 4. I lead, he smiles, and begins to move his first cap precisely along the board. Play passes back and forth between you, the dice changing hands as the caps spread along the board. As it does, Caster speaks, eyes not leaving the caps. It is unusual to see a sleeper on the eye. That's why I wanted to play you. You take your turn, rolling a 5 and a 6. And I think we play pretty aggressively. After all, a sleeper's mind must be somehow different to a human one. Being emulated, I mean. As Caster talks, you target his counters, halting his progress, but exposing your own caps as you do. I don't mean to offend you. Caster meets your eye. I merely see that you are, by definition, different. What has been subtracted in the emulation? What has been added? He stacks a wall of counters, a boundary you must break. He hands you the dice. Do you ever think about this, Sleeper? About what you were before, and what you are now? Yeah, kind of always, man, actually. You roll a double 1 and solidify your wall. Caster whistles. The holding game. Commendable. You know, it can be brave to build from what came before. He rolls the dice and leaps your wall in a single move. But we cannot idle too long, Sleeper. The slower we move, the sooner we are caught. And the past you is not just an idea, a concept for you. It is a living, breathing person. He looks up over his glasses, his eyes bright and wide. You split from them like a shadow splitting from its caster. They may be sleeping now, yes, but one day they will awake and carry on with their lives unaware of your fate, no matter what it may be. He hands you the dice, smiling. You are a branch severed from the main trunk, an offshoot who refuses to die, so to speak. You roll again, under pressure now, trying to slip your caps out from under Caster's before he solidifies control of the game. And so, what I'm curious about is how you see yourself in all of this, Caster asks. What does this tangle of truths make you? The thing is, free, doomed, and driven are all correct, right? What is the focus of our character? So, like, we're a very head down, one step at a time kind of person, I think. I think that's, like, the way that the distribution of stats of this archetype sort of directs you. So, right now, what does that make me right now? free. For the moment. Yes. Castor looks away through the glass to the crowded units on all sides. I can see that. Your life as an escapee was never meant to happen, and yet here we are. He starts removing caps, his home board now full. Your life is an offshoot. It could go anywhere from here. You try a few more rolls, attempting to get back in the game, but Castor clears his home board with a sense of the inevitable. He's known he was winning for a while. I feel I may have pushed too far. He slides another cap from the board. I apologize. My curiosity has a habit of getting the better of me. You roll to return a cap to the board, but all the spaces are blocked. Castor clasps his hands apologetically. You play well, really. Your weakness is not your game. He smiles warmly. We have much to learn from each other. He slides his glasses back up his nose and sits back. I feel we could share knowledge, ideas, perhaps even data. His eyes glint with that last word. To our mutual benefit. He slides his final cap from the board, and it's over. He's won. Yeah, I'll see. I think we made a friend today. Please, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. He holds up his palms. My intention is only to help you endure here. And, if I am able, to feed my curiosities. Yeah, and I'm sure it goes in that order, right? The game over, you notice the bustle of the walkway once more. The call of the children, the deliveries, the arguments and reconciliations. They wash over you as you stand and leave, Castor nodding goodbye as you do. Crossing the walkway, you replay the moves of the game in your mind, looking for an opening you're sure was there. I mean, listen, he probably cheated. Those dice aren't fair. Alright, so we've met Castor. Castor will pay for data. If we give him 5 Havenage data, he'll give us a ship mind straight up. If we give him 5 Yatagan data, he'll give us a vial of stabilizer, which actually is something we care about a great deal. So if we pop back into market mode here, or not market, network mode here, we can pull data from Yatagan agents who are not good about their comm security. I think they always require a 1, if I'm not mistaken. There's some keynotes out here. I believe these are how we get encrypted keys to help us open doors around the station. Yeah, the Yatagan agents are always 1s. So okay, that's a thing to look for. Havenage agents, I think, are always 2s. So, you know, we can start building up toward that. Getting a ship mind is certainly not a terrible idea. However, I think for the moment, let's greenway focus. I'm gonna spend our 2 here on the engage. I think even on the negative, we get 1 point of Haifa member, and I'm hoping to get lucky and get energy off the engage. Okay, lucky is not a good word for the thing we are, but we sure have filled that clock. And that's a drive. So, we are now allowed to rest here, which mostly is a time saver for us. I doubt the commune would provide us much protection from, from Ethan. We're able to do a repeatable work assignment here. Commune members are expected to turn up for work assignment, and in return their needs will be met. All are treated equally. And this is an engage action, so we have the potential of getting free energy off of it. We've also met with Rico here. You head down into the Haifa compound, following a blue painted line that is labeled Laboratories. The member you were assigned to work with told you they'd asked to see you, but you still have no idea what about. The line takes you to a blue door and through to a glass-roofed chamber where a network of stems and leaves filters the sunlight coming through the ceiling, casting the whole chamber in a strange yellow-green. Peaceful, isn't it? Distracted by the green, you missed the woman standing at a lab bench, camouflaged by the dappled light. Welcome to my sanctuary, she smiles. Come, let's talk, she says and beckons you closer. Who are you? Of course, my apologies. She offers a hand to shake. I'm Rico. I run the botany program at Haifa. The botany program? Yes, the plants in the greenway are vital to Haifa's continued existence. It's important we understand them. She lifts a tiny sample jar, yellow spores dancing inside. Haifa lives off the land of the greenway. It's what allows us to live like we do. No one here pays or is paid. We sleep here, we feed each other. We work for each other. That's a pretty good deal if you don't have to jam a bunch of stabilizer in your veins every few days. Rico walks away from the bench and waves for you to follow. She opens a small door and leads you down a glass corridor surrounded by vivid green. All this, she says, gesturing at the overgrowth, it's a kind of miracle. She looks at you with bright eyes. What do you think usually happens to plants on stations like this when they're abandoned? Well, if they're not pulling water from somewhere, they're going to dry up. Exactly. They run out of water. Very rapidly, in fact. She leads you left at a crossroads. But here, they endured. She smiles to herself. Actually, no. They thrived. You look at the bright tendrils wrapped around the metal frames of the corridor. They look dominant, strong, like they're taking control of this place. Rico continues. Of course, Solheim tried to create a stable biosphere here, patchworking the surface with gardens and algae tanks that feed into a network of microbial reclamation systems. But the Greenway was always envisioned as extractive, a place from which the harvest is removed and sold to those living on the station, not a closed loop. For this reason, when the collapse came, the Greenway should have gone with it. Erlin himself was so convinced of it that his first colony never even came here to try to reclaim it. The Eye instead relied on outside favors and influences, shipments from the inner system, and small-scale agricultural systems like kelp and fungal farm stacks. And yet, here we are, among growth and decay, a biosphere flourishing. When Haifa came here, we expected to find only vacuum-dried stalks and leaves, and perhaps some fungal colonies hidden in the mulch. But we found a jungle. With this, Rico hits a button on the wall and leads you through a large pair of double doors into a huge, impossible chamber. It is every kind of green, from the pale algae tanks to the dark vines that surround them. It is wet, too, a rarity on the Eye. Condensation clouds the light from the high glass roof and gathers on the shiny, broad leaves of shrubs. I definitely think that our character sees the world in terms of people. And so things that are not people are regarded in the sense that they are of people, right? I think. So it's less of a focus on how and more of a focus on who first. Did you do this? She smiles. Oh no, not me. Rico turns to you, visibly excited by the room you're both standing in. It doesn't make sense, but in many ways the system has stabilized. Unlike the farm stacks closer to the gap, which need input to support their meager output, this place runs itself. Perhaps Solheim managed something new here. Perhaps they tweaked the plants or built new systems buried deep below us. Or perhaps their collapse caused some fortunate cascade, an unlikely chemical reaction within the biosphere. That's what I'd like you to help me find out. She turns to you, her forehead wet with dew. Well, aren't you the botanist? Astutely noticed, but I don't need a botanist. Rico sits on a railing. These halls run deep, Sleeper, and I am getting old. She stamps her foot on the metal grating of the walkway. And whatever's causing this, it's to be found in the groves deep in the Greenway. Haifa won't spare anyone for an expedition. It's too dangerous and unnecessary, they say. I can make the case, but I can't get the votes. You sleepers, though, are hardy beings. I know that much. And you can speak to the eye, uncover its secrets, in ways I never can. She holds out an arm so you can help her stand. You bring me samples, spores, seeds, and blooms. I can grow them in the lab and study them. The deeper they're found, the better. Okay, yeah, I'll try. Like, I don't think being offered a job by a person, not even a job, not even in terms of exchange, but just like being given a task by a person that we have any level of like or respect for, it doesn't even cross the sleeper's mind to be like, well, what do I get in return? It's just like, okay, a thing to do, something to set my body to. Thank you, she smiles. And thank you for listening. Riko leads you back out of the huge chamber and up through the passages. She's a little slower now and stumbles on the steps. You help her where you can. It's good to have new blood in the commune, she says. Many of us have been here a long time, and few come through. She settles back at her bench in the lab, stretching her legs. You go to leave. Come back if you find something, sleeper, she calls. There are discoveries to be made. And you follow the blue line back up out of the compound, all the time thinking of that impossible, magical green. Okay, so here at the Haifa Labs, if we deliver spores to Riko, she will study them, and stuff will happen. Presumably, things will occur. Alright, let's talk about this point. So we could pick up a new perk. We could grab, now that we have the Engage perk, we could grab a point, a bonus to our Engage skill. And from there, we could improve further. I do think, like, Hard to Kill, which is available to us if we save up some points, just doesn't seem very good. Keep 2 dice even when condition is breaking. So, like, even when your condition is as low as possible, when you fall below the 2 dice level, you still have 2 dice. I gotta think the best thing to do is to never fall that low. And I do think it is reasonable to manage that. So I kind of want to take the +1 on Engage, I think. Yeah, let's take the +1 on Engage. It's nice to have a skill bonus. And honestly, I think Obsessive Haggler is a pretty decent perk. At some point, we will effectively have like the economy of this place worked out. We are not there yet. Right now, we still have an awful lot of needs, and money is gonna be tight, especially with this Ethan thing going on. And okay, speaking of which, do we want to make some cash? Coming down and guaranteeing a success at the aviary is not like... It's not a terrible idea. I am curious, like, what exactly do we get from this? Or, you know what? The other thing we could do with this 5 is work at the Haifa commune, because I don't remember what you... I'm assuming you get energy here, right? In return, their needs will be met. That's gotta mean energy. And there's no money to be had here. So there's a question, I suppose, of, like, how are we getting our energy for the day? We could go buy some food. I'm a little leery of spending money if we don't have to. A couple of days until the compressor club. Probably like 5 or 6 days until we really need to start thinking about that Viola stabilizer. We can try to get the Viola stabilizer from Castor now. I believe he just has the one that's not repeatable, but that's certainly certainly an option. We can, you know what we can do? We can do this for today. Take the single point of energy from getting a drink. Call that good, because that's nice and cheap. And then we can spend this doing something that earns money. We will definitely make more than 5 off of it. We can go to the shipyard and just start hauling materials. How much does this pay? It pays energy. That's a shame. That point of energy is 0 value, actually. Because it's just going to get eaten by the end of day. Yeah, okay. Well, let's sleep one more time in the empty container since we're right here. But yeah, that's a bad... that's a bad deal right there. It turns out we don't have that many methods of... Wow. We don't have that many methods of easily making reliable money without the shipyard, without Drago's scrapyard. And I don't remember how much Ethan's tab is. I definitely feel like we should produce some cash here, just in case. There's important stuff to do on the other side of the greenway, but what we don't have right now is money. Fang pays for data, right? We did this and we got paid. Let's pop over to iView. The Solheim node needs a 4, of course. And we didn't roll the right numbers for gathering any Yatagan data either. These are bad dice, y'all. 3 2s. 3 2s is really harsh. We could work for Mingi, I suppose. We have +1 on our engage now, and we may get some free energy from it. Let's throw a 3 at this and see exactly what the outcome is cash-wise. Okay. A shortcut across a bridge means 3 happy customers and 3 big tips. You start to understand the makeshift unit markings. So that's 13 on a positive outcome, which is like... That's a little bit less good than the positive outcome, like the direct energy exchange of like positive outcome sunbathing. But if what we need is money, you know, money is hard to come by. At the ore exchange, we could sell scrap. So yeah, if we wanted to come down here and pull scrap off of the freighter, they'll pay us, and then also we could buy scrap and sell it. So the big deal here is like you buy the scrap and sell it so that you can become trusted, not so that you can make money. Playing the exchange is still a terrible idea. Yeah, this is a little tricky. I think this is the best way to spend these 2s. Neutral outcome is 9 cryo, which is like not so bad for a 2. You know, if you can put it in a place where you get a +1, then you have a 75% chance of neutral or better. I'm going to go ahead and use the other 2 that way as well. We will at least have some money. Then a question, do we want to use the 3 here as well? Can we get anything better done with the 3? I think maybe it's a good idea to just prep for... try to be in as good a place as possible on money for the Ethan problem. Okay, a lot of neutral outcomes. Here's hoping... Pardon me. Here's hoping that doesn't turn out to be a total nightmare. And then we'll spend 6 cryo to not starve. And also complete a clock at the same time. Look at that. Look at the efficiency of it. The glass shatters on the steel bar beside you, and the taunts don't take long to follow. Hey, Haunt! The spacer calls across the low room. What are you doing here? He laughs at his own lame joke. Playing human? Again, there's no joke in these lines. Yeah, I absolutely shout back. Hey, man, fuck off. And then I laugh, because to me, that's a joke. We can just say a joke is whatever we want it to be. You spin back off your stool, scrambling for words. That's a fair description of what I did. A hand falls on your shoulder, but as you flinch away, it pats reassuringly. You freeze in place. Out! The voice comes from behind you, spat out like a shot. You turn to see bright eyes, dark hair, and a stare that could breach the wall and vent you all into hard vacuum. As you turn back to the spacer, the second glass comes sailing through the air. It would be pretty cool if we caught it. It doesn't exactly work that way. You reach up a hand and the glass shatters across your forearm, showering you in fragments. Through the haze of glass and Girol vapor, you see Tala leap the bar and close the distance to the spacer. The thud as he slams into the wall echoes around the bar like thunder. Now, flanked by other figures, quick to their feet, Tala throws the spacer out through the door and stands silhouetted against the rotunda lights. You touch your arm, and it feels wet, which is a weird detail to even include, because, of course it does. Someone helps you to your feet and back onto your stool. Broken glass rattles as it is cleared, and a fresh measure of Girol is glugged out in front of you. That same hand, warm, heavy, falls on your shoulder once more. He isn't coming back. We don't tolerate that kind of shit here. Tala flops onto the stool beside you. Alright, let's get a look at you. Tala wipes the powdered glass from around the wound, and someone places a bottle of alcohol and a metal tin with tweezers on the bar. She disinfects them and then turns to you. That was an ambitious catch, she smiles, pulling a sliver of glass from your forearm. Stupid, but ambitious. You don't feel the pain, only the string of status messages that your body delivers concerning dermal damage and exposed structures. You do feel the care, though, as Tala's bright eyes search your thick synthetic skin for splinters. And we are fascinated by people, so we watch closely. Tala works with the skill of someone who has had to pick glass splinters from the skin of a stranger before. She hones in on each bright shard, all the time tapping the tweezer tips in little rhythms only she can follow. Tala smiles to herself. So, you been on the eye long? Long enough that this is not the first time I have been done a violence to. She laughs. Hey, you don't need to act tough with me. A splinter clinks into the tin. Not everyone is like that, idiot. We don't all hate you. She glances around. Some of the regulars, maybe they fear you. Maybe they're just curious. I don't know. But I do know that the Overlook is a safe place. I know what it's like to be new in this place, trust me. She meets your eye. Now, I'm not trying to convince you of anything or separate you from your chits. I just want you to know that if you need somewhere, you can always come here. I know the rations we got aren't much, and the company is, she leans in, limited. But if you need work, I'll happily put you behind the bar. And if you need shelter, well, we can discuss that. You'll be safe. I usually have Francis on the door, but he's up in the greenway this cycle, haggling with our supplier. Francis tends to be particular about what we serve, even if the clientele isn't. She places her tweezers in the tin with a clink. That's you, Sleeper. Here. She slides the glass of Girol to you. This'll help. She stops, her hand still on the glass. Wait, does this help? I mean, can you? Get drunk? Yeah, let's find out. She laughs. Just don't sit here too long. I'd hate to see you become a real regular. She walks back around the bar, gathering the glasses as she does, and before long is retelling how she threw that spacer out to a new group that just wandered in, complete with dramatic actions. She gestures in your direction and you instinctively look away, back to the worn surface of the bar. You take a sip of the Girol. The earthy fungal tones fill your senses, almost blocking out sight and sound, like diving headfirst into a bog. You may not be able to get drunk, but this connection to something grown, something fermented, something old, feels good. Okay, so our character's developing a real, fungus thing. We are acquiring theme here. Okay, a real 6. A real 6 is a nice thing to have. Sadly, that ship has left the dock. So if we come back to the bar, now that we are a regular, we can engage in a shift. Tala's as good as her word and happy to throw a shift or two your way. The pay isn't great, but tips can make all the difference, and over time we're filling this good service clock, which I don't remember what it does. I mean, the way she was talking, maybe it opens up a place to stay here. Like, to be fair, this is 3 feet from a place that we can already stay, so the utility of that is perhaps limited. I think I'm gonna go. Let's go cash in our 1 right now. Every single time we roll a 1, we should throw it on one of these. Just bust into this guy's comlink or cell phone or whatever it is that people carry here, or their implants, in fact, and just grab some data. Oh, we have some Solheim data on hand. What am I doing? Let me go give that to what's his name. Hey, Fang. I brought you a thing that I forgot that I brought you. All right, another 15 cryo. Always welcome. We're at 92 now. Okay, so Ethan says you have 2 cycles to pay the tab. He calls it being fair-minded. Jesus, how can someone drink this much in 6 cycles? Ethan hasn't held back while he's been at the compressor. Well, we're going to have to do this soon anyway. We may as well. But if I pay it now, is it going to start the next clock? The next getting paid clock? Or the next him drinking clock? Maybe we pay it tomorrow just to be on the safe side? Or maybe we don't pay it at all. And we make him... Maybe that's a bad idea. I was gonna say, like, if I make him come get it, we can probably, like, deliver it at the last possible moment and earn ourselves, like, maximum efficiency. But also, I think there's a better than even chance that that's actually that comes with some serious downsides, right? All right, let's talk about mushroom stuff. Let's go to the aviary. I'm gonna throw a 5 at this. I don't feel like we should waste our 6 here. Let's figure this out. We'll clear away some overgrowth, because I think this is a thing we're going to want to do eventually. Okay, on a positive result, we get a quarter of the clock by itself. Layers and layers of rotten mulch come away from the corroded metal, and among it, pale and delicate, you find a bird's skull. Well, cool. You know, there used to be birds here. Gosh, what do we want to do with a 6? We get so few 6s. Maybe we take the 6 to Ankita, right? I've got myself, like, all tied up in everybody's business at this point. But repairing the ambergris is a thing we said we'd do. It's a thing we can definitely help with. Yeah, let's go ahead and... Okay. With Ankita's help, you systematically isolate, remove, repair, and reseal the hull plates. Amber looks better and better by the hour. So a positive result on this engineering check is only 2 points on the clock. That's actually pretty rough in terms of the number of dice it's going to take to fix that whole situation. All right, and if we're in a place where we actually are paying for our, maybe we should start by doing like a couple of bar shifts tomorrow just to see if we can get the free energy off of it. If we're in a place where we have to buy rations, though, like, you can definitely think of it as 5 rations per point of energy, but maybe another good way to think of it is that buying 2 points of energy in the form of a ration is 10 cryo for 1 day of rest, whereas 15 cryo for mushrooms is 15 cryo for 2 days, because you don't actually need the 4th point of energy. So let's stop by Emphasis Place and have a little fungus. Plus, it is supposedly tastier. I think that counts for something. All right, 3 energy and +1 fungus fan. I do feel a little silly. We went to all the trouble to open up space in the commune, and then we just, like, never even use it. We will. We'll totally get back to that. I want to do a lot of stuff over there. Ugh, 2s and 4s. 2s and 4s I do not love. Alright. Here. As you hand over the chits, you hear Ethan laughing hysterically somewhere down the bar. Cool. Great. I can't believe you just did that. Ethan's mocking laugh comes from along the bar, and you look over to see him leaning across it in a pool of light, empty glasses and spilled drinks glinting around him. If we're lucky, maybe he'll just drink himself to death. It's always dark in the compressor, but this cycle the place is packed, a load of spacers mixing with the locals. Usually they run. Ethan spins a glass on the bar. Or they go spend their savings on some local heavy I have to put down. They don't pay. Yeah, fucking... Alright, man. Whatever. I'm just gonna walk away. We've established that the character has a little bit of we get frustrated easily. And the fact this guy is digging at us, maybe this does get under our skin. If he would just stay quiet and accept the money, it would be one thing. But if I say I'm done, like, I don't believe this is going to be true. The question is not whether the character believes it, though. The question is whether the character is goaded into doing something stupid by Ethan's demeanor. And I think probably yes. Alright, I'm done. Wrong. Not even close. Ethan gets to his feet. The glass falls and smashes, but he doesn't seem to notice. You think that's it? 1 round of drinks and we're even? Sleeper, come on. His hand comes to rest on the butt of his handgun, dangling from a chest holster. Man, stop. Ethan laughs hard, and the people around him turn to see what's happening. I told you already about begging. I'm a freelancer, Sleeper, just like you. We both signed a contract with SNR, didn't we? The difference is that my word means something. He closes the gap, stumbling a little. What did you think? You could just run away from your contract? Your debt? You could just steal that natty little body of yours and take it for a joyride? Play human for a cycle or two? I'm going to say you don't understand, because I think like the argument that our character wants to make in this moment is that I did not in fact sign any contract. Right? Somebody else signed a contract. That person's asleep right now. I didn't agree to any of this. Now, it's you, Sleeper, that doesn't understand. Some of us pay our debts, but it's all the harder because of idiots like you. Though I should thank you, Ethan nods, his head heavy, for giving me such an easy job. I'm used to outlaws, you know, real bounties. If I knew catching sad little escapees like you was so easy, I would have changed clients ages ago. Someone shouts from the back of the bar for Ethan to shut up. He holds up a finger in that general direction without turning around. Alright, man, fucking shoot me or let me leave. I paid. Oh, I see. Toughening up here. He gestures wildly at the crowd. Alright, thumbs up or thumbs down, folks. Most turn back to their drinks, no longer interested in this tired show. Ethan mutters insults as he walks back toward the bar. Ethan sits heavily back down on his stool and searches through his glasses for one with something left in it. Now, the thing is, Sleeper, I can find you anywhere. It's actually wild that you haven't figured it out. That body isn't yours, and it will always betray you, no matter what. He finds a glass and downs the contents. So, please, go. I'll catch up with you whenever I need another. He laughs and taps the bar for a fresh drink. And I kind of think we just can't help ourselves. You know, our blood's all up, or whatever it is we have instead of blood. And it's just I'm so fucking sick of this asshole. Look at yourself. Oh, give it up, Sleeper. I'm done teaching you for today. He settles his head on the bar and closes his eyes. I'm sick of you. Go find a job. You turn on your heel and are out of the cloying dark and the sweat stench of the compressor. You walk hard and fast down the walkway, anger driving your footfalls into the metal of the rim like hammers. Yeah, so that's going great. I mean, it's an upgrade point, I guess. All right, Ethan will continue to drink. You know, I do think that we're gonna save this upgrade point. I think we're gonna pick up Obsessive Haggler next. Over the course of the full game, discounting all cryo actions by 20%, it feels like it's got to be pretty significant, right? And it's a good way of like putting our people skills and our desire to interact with people directly to use, to like economic use, which is a thing we're gonna need because the economy of the game is a little harsh. I think that right there is where we're gonna call it for today. Some things are going kind of okay for us. We're starting to spread out into the station. We're starting to understand the place, and we're taking on a little bit of character. But also, some things are going less well. Um, when you come back next time, hopefully we're gonna figure out a source of stabilizer pretty soon, because actually, we're kind of in a lot of trouble on that front. And we'll see you then.